Hey guys, it's Penguin here, and welcome back to another gold making video. Today we're going to be talking about boosting and exactly how it compares to gold making, as well as just how to get started. So there's going to be multiple different segments in this video, but first I'm just going to explain what boosting actually is. We're going to compare boosting to just standard traditional gold making, like the auction house, and then we're also going to be talking about the requirements and actually how to get started boosting if that's something you want to do. Now, this video is going to be slightly knowledge-based as well as a Q&A portion. Basically, I was able to interview a Discord member. His name is Ethan. For anybody who is an active Discord member, you have probably seen him. He is pretty well known for him being a booster, a part of our community, and he has often actually shared his profits within our mailbox channel and has actually talked about how he makes gold and everything like that. But he is a bit unique because not only does he just boost, he also does auction house and he also crafts and just does the traditional gold making as well. So basically this video is going to be me giving information as well as cutting to those segments of where actually he will be giving information as well. With that in mind, I want to say thank you to everyone who have actually sent in their questions. We tried our best to go over everything to our best ability that people have asked, and we've also tried to word it just how you said it, so we can make sure that you know that your question is in there. But of course, some people said the same questions, so hopefully this just answers everything that everybody wanted to know. So I hope you enjoy the video. Alright, so before we talk about actually how to make gold with boosting and everything like that, I just want to give a simple breakdown of what boosting actually is and what it means to do, like what you actually have to do to be a booster. Now with boosting, there are two ways to go about it. You can be an independent booster. Let's say you just want to help people run Torghast. Because Torghast, you normally only need one person, and then you need the person that is paying for basically the boost. So you can definitely do this independently. You can just advertise saying, hey, I'll run your Torghast for you, pay me this much, basically. So that's one way to go about gold making, is just doing it solo, doing it for Torghast, doing something like that. Or maybe you have a group of friends, you could do it together. However, the second and the more main and more gold making way is actually joining a community. Now, a community is basically a Discord group or just like a group within WoW, which is built between boosters and brokers. Now, you're going to hear those two words a lot throughout this video. So, a booster is basically somebody who either runs Torghast, raids, or mythic dungeons for gold. These are the people that are actually doing the runs. They are actually killing the bosses. They are actually carrying the person through either the raid, Torghast, or dungeon, and that is what they do. That is their main job. Now, these boosters, they get paid per boost. So let's say plus 15 mythic key, you will get a certain amount of gold for, and you will get that every time you do that specific key. So basically, as a booster, you just want to run as many keys and as many boosts as possible to make your income. Now, the second term and the second way people can participate in a boosting community is to become a broker. And that is basically what you see in trade chat whenever you walk into Orgrimmar or just any major city. You will get a ton of messages saying, hey, wants to sell mythic raids, wants to sell mythics, wants to sell Torghast, blah, 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 message me, I'm super cheap, like message me, gold only, stuff like that. Now, those people are specifically brokers who their main job is to just advertise. They normally have a macro set up, and they are just sitting inside Orgrimmar normally, and are just posting in trade chat. Now, what their goal is to get somebody to whisper them and be like, wow, I'm interested, how much would this cost? And let's say they do make that deal, and they start a boost for them. They are responsible to put that boost up in the Discord and get a group going in order to actually send boosters out to help them. Now, I will say the broker job, in my opinion, is probably the more easier job since it basically requires almost being AFK. All you have to do is once you do get a whisper, then you just have to make sure you respond to them and stuff. But basically, these brokers get paid by the sale that they complete. So if they complete 2 sales, then they're going to get this much, and it all depends on how pricey the sale is and everything like that. So, a part of these communities, there are boosters and brokers, and I just want to make sure that you guys understand the difference. The other name you're going to be hearing in this video is accelerate boosting, and that is basically the community that Ethan is a part of. Now, throughout Trade Chat, you have probably seen many different communities. I don't really know them off the top of my head, but there are plenty out there, and there's basically just an unlimited amount of them. But Accelerate is the one that Ethan has actually been a part of, and I have actually seen the Discord and I have seen how they run, and I do approve of everything that they're doing. I think it is very solid, and how they have everything set up is very, very mature and very, very professional. So that is the boosting community we're going to be talking about today, and that is the boosting community that Ethan is going to be referring to, because that is what he is actually a part of. So yeah, we of course are not sponsored or anything like that in this video. However, we are going to be talking about that community since we do have their permission, as well as Ethan just knows that one the best, and of course, everything is generalized, so if you do decide to go to a different community, everything should basically almost be the same, of course, with a little bit different twist. So, that being said, we are going to start some of the Q&A portion, and I hope you enjoy. Alright, now, from your point of view, like, how much time do you spend, either like a day or a week, for like boosting only?
And so, okay, I've given this a lot of thought, and usually around like a single day. The best day you can make for a single day I made for me is like 800,000 purely from boosting, just signing up for a boost on a really good day. And so, but I've also given a thought that even if I did not put that much time into it, if I didn't spend my entire day, like for example, on the auction house, and said I just only did boosting, you could make a very high amount. Like the highest you could make is 400,000. But recently I've gold capped and I've been just keeping it low. So I make around like 200,000 each day, which is about 4 runs that I could do. And those 4 runs I could do anytime I want. Whenever a boost come up, I can sign up with iFree. I'm not like contracted to anything. I'm not forced to do anything. It's just whenever I feel like it, I could do it. And so recently I've been doing around 200,000 each day. And so by the end of the week, I would make around 1.4 million.
Alright, and that's 4 boosts a day, like 7 days a week, basically?
Yep, 4 boosts a day.
Alright, now how long would those 4 boosts take you?
So each run, depending on the buyer, is if the buyer decides to not participate in the run, which is fine, or the buyer does participate, but on average, I did test this, and usually on most runs, like for example with the affixes from Mythic Plus, many people don't know, but Tyrannical Week is basically when bosses' health are increased by 30%, and the week after that, 45 is basically their health, their damage is increased. So usually you would want to do it on the fortified weeks because that's when the boost is the fastest, for example. So around the fortified weeks, a boost takes around 20 to 30 minutes to complete, and on Tyrannical is around 30 to 38 minutes to complete.
Alright, so you can say you take about 2 hours to boost in like an average term?
Yeah, most likely 2 hours.
Awesome. Now, when talking about like standard gold making, so like professions, gathering, farming, stuff like that, compared to something like boosting, which is still gold making, however, it's not very traditional, what would you prefer, and are there any certain pros and cons that you see with either of them?
Okay, so I've given this a lot of thought too as soon as I began boosting, and I'm just gonna state like how much I've made from the current boosting. So I've developed this thing where so right now I've started at the beginning of March 4th, right? And my so does my friend, and I've made up to 5.5 million within till March 24th, just from purely boosting gold. And so my friend who also started at around 80,000 gold is currently at 9.2 million gold as of today, March 26th, just from boosting. And the way I would go about this is that once the new patch hits and the Mythic Plus season gets reset, there won't be any boost because people are currently focused on current content and trying to get their IOs up, their gear like to the best in slot possible. So I would say that is the best time to do the auction house making, which I'm going to be focusing on only auction house by the time that patch comes out. Because right now we're leading into like deep into patch 9.05, and the market's becoming increasingly weak over time. So right now, like my focus that if the market is weak and I know it's becoming more weak over time, then I would transition to boosting until the market regains its strength in the next patch.
So yeah, guys, as you can see, Ethan spends about 2 hours a day currently boosting, which is about 4 runs for him. It takes anywhere between 2 to 3 hours depending on the length of the runs. And within this first month, he has made 5 million gold, and his friend has made 9 million. Now, of course, his friend is doing it a little bit more in depth, as you can tell, but from just doing it for 2 hours a day, Ethan has already made 5 million gold, and this is from the 4th to the 26th. So this is 22 days, so not even a full month, and he's made over 5 million gold. Now, of course, you do have to remember that this is boosting and this is not traditional gold making. So, of course, boosting, you need a lot more skill and you need actual requirements before involving yourself with actually being able to boost. However, we are going to be talking about that next. But as you can see, this way of gold making is actually very, very good, and he is making a killing on gold. Right now, as you can see, this will basically be his TSM profile on his broker tune, and as you can see, he started out with 0, and he's past 4 million, and it doesn't even have the final million that he has, but as you can see, that is true proof of how much gold he has made. So, to just sum it up, he boosts about 4 times a day. It takes him roughly about 2 to 3 hours, and within the past month, he has made 5 million gold. So that is just summarizing how much time he takes to boost and how much gold he is getting out of it. But yes, now we are going to be moving on to the requirements of boosting, so stay tuned for that. I guess the first thing is, how do you find a way into a boosting community?
So the way that I found my boosting community, it's from actually I got like a mail in the game, and what the owner did is what he looked for like people's high IOs, and they gave like a mail out to anyone that they needed, a DPS, tank, or healing. Just mail out a bunch of people. That's the way I found it. But from what I understand, that it's almost as easy as a single like Google search, and you find like a boosting community. You join their Discord, and people are asking like what are like the basic requirements, and most likely the basic requirements are you just having like around like let's say like around like a 1.3k IO for Radar.io. Even you can have even more below that, even 1,000 IO to do boosts. Like it's pretty much like generalized where like anyone can sign up and it's super quick and easy and fast. All you have to do is like a few clicks and just type in a few words and you're done.
All right. Now, what would be the difference? Because, like, as you know, like when you see online and everything, there's a ton of different communities. So, like, is there a certain thing you should look for, or are they all kind of like standard the same?
So from what I did looking for in communities, I kind of looked for the most like best like player quality and player quality as in for like boosters. And so like the best community I found for signing up for boost, for example, is Accelerate. And the way their system is, it's very automated, super fast and easy. But the other boosting communities that I have checked out is where you would have to sign up by sending DMs on Discord, which can get like a little bit messy and it's kind of hard to figure out which one you sign for. But from what my understanding is like you find like a nice, like good setup community where everything is most likely automated right now, as most communities are switching to, which automated is the best way and very quick and easy. So it's like all about like efficiency and how fast you can get into a run.
All right. Now, I know you talked about like the Raider.io stuff and like all your like rankings you need, but how long did it take like you personally, or would you say take somebody who's like brand new to Shadowlands to actually qualify to become a booster?
I would say that for me is like for me example, I only did Mythic Plus as a casual thing just because whenever I got bored of certain stuff, I would just do it as a fun way with my friends and everything like that. But I would say if you are playing it seriously, it is going to take you some time because you're going to need to learn the dungeons and like the certain routes or like what the bosses do. I think the main important thing is if you're getting started out and you want to do Mythic Plus boosting, you need to focus first on the mechanics of each boss and what they do and what you need to do as your role. So I would just say just take it slow. Honestly, play at your own rate. You don't have to do it rush because boosting goes out through the whole season. And right now, like the current Mythic Plus season has been going on for around like 6 months or so, and that's for quite a while. So you have a lot of time to do whatever you need to, what you need to learn. Just I would say focus on yourself first before you think about boosting.
So, for somebody who does enjoy doing mythics or raiding, for example, when is the right time for them to actually either start boosting, and like what exactly is that just right time when they should start looking into boosting?
So for like Mythic Plus, like as I said before, that I've done it as a casual way, and I did it for a fun thing with my friends. I was never like seriously into like pushing my rating, or even though we did do hierarchies over time, but I wasn't so serious about it as some others are. And so I would say like the best time for boosting is also like when a new patch hits, it's also good to focus on improving your IO because that's when the prices will be most high. Just for example, how the auction house prices will also be soaring too as well. Like that's the best time to be in the auction house. So the way I would balance that is that, for example, if you want to purely focus on auction house, I would do that first at the beginning of the patch. And if you want to purely do boosting at the start, which the prices will be high, really high. For example, right now, a plus 15 for most communities. If you join in for a run to do a plus 15, you get most likely around like 40K for that run. And by example, like the next patch that hits, let's say a plus 10 key would be 70K payout for each booster. That's how high the prices would be changed at the new patch. So it is beneficial as well to improve your IO. So the best way I would balance it out for myself is that I'm going to be doing auction house almost the entire day, but on my free time, whenever the auction house is on its lowest point where I won't make that much sales, and I know I won't, then I would be doing current content, getting whatever I need to do done, getting my best in slots, doing Mythic Plus if I feel like it, but not too much in the way where like I feel like I'm forced to like bring up my IO, but I am going to be doing it more casual way. Because getting into the boost, you can get that into even in the middle of the season. The only time I would ever like refrain from getting into boosting is very late into the season because the payout won't be that large and it would feel like very like it wouldn't feel like much progress as you would make in the middle of the season or early season.
With the amount of boosting communities there are, and also with the amount of boosters there are, do you think there's an oversaturation of them? And is that something you should be worried about when you're going into this, like as a new player?
Oh yeah, there is a huge oversaturation on boosters. For example, like I was saying out earlier, anyone can do a boost. It does not matter if you're very high O or you're low IO. Obviously, if you're higher IO, you can get to the higher runs you would want to get the bigger payouts. But there are a lot of boosters, and I would say fighting for a boost is kind of hard in some communities. For example, like I know Huokon, you have to DM like the broker on Discord with your like Raider IO link, and you have to be one of the first ones to message them that in order to get in. And for example, like Accelerate, where everything is automated, you would have to click on the roles as fast as you can if you're approved to do that run. And it is like an oversaturated because there's a lot of people that sign up, and you want to be there first. You want to be the first one to sign up to get in. So that's why if you are going to the boosting community, I would recommend that you do brokering. For example, if you're approved to do the runs, like for example, I'm a broker for in a community, right? And every community allows it to if the broker makes a sale, they can participate in their own run. So if I make a sale for let's say one of my own runs, I get around like 30,000 gold from making that sale. I also get another 70,000 for participating in that run. So within like let's say like an hour or so, or even less than an hour, like 30 minutes, I could make around 100,000 gold just by then.
Alright, guys, so I actually wanted to take you through the process of actually showing what a booster sees on their side inside of their community. Now, once again, I am using Accelerate because that is the community that I've actually looked into and is the one that Ethan has been using for the past few months. So, this is definitely something that I know is trustworthy, and that is why I'm showing it. Now, basically, you can go onto this website and you can sign up, which if you click the button, basically it asks you to sign in with Discord and it lists the prices here. Now, after you sign up, you will basically set up what character you're boosting on, and you have to connect with your Raider.io profile. Basically, depending on what your score is what different mythics that you can actually run. Now, once you do this, then you will actually join the Accelerate Boosting Community Discord, which is this right here. And actually, if you are not a booster, you can already join this, and you can actually buy through the Discord if you don't want to buy in game. However, it is personal preference. But basically, I just want to show how this community is set up because this community is a little bit different because it is fully automated. Basically, it does everything for you. The broker will put in the information, put in who is the boost for, what the boost exactly is, and it gets sent to this Discord. So, after you log in and you get accepted as a booster, basically you will see the offers on the side. And if we click on these, and we scroll to the bottom, as you can see, if we take an example, the most recent boost was 30 minutes ago at 8:18 p.m. And if we look closely, it is 1 plus 15 TP, which stands for Theater of Pain, and it is a timed run, which means that you must be able to plus 2 the key, which basically means you just have to run it really fast. And so once again, it is broken down even more. So it says 1 key, plus 15, Theater of Pain, any armor, and then in time guarantee. And then you will see your actual pay. So every booster is getting paid 52k whenever they just complete this run. Now, 52k, you basically get that in about 30 minutes of your work because once again, it has to be a +2, which means you have to run it pretty fast. So, in about 30 minutes of work, you will be getting 52k. So, if you take that, an hour of work will be about 100k. Now, the second thing that you can do is also have the key. For example, as you can see, this is actually a specific key. They are asking for the Theater of Pain. So, let's say you are signing up for this boost and you also have a +15 Theater of Pain key. You can sign up as the key holder and you get 20k on top of your booster pay. So instead of making 52k, you are making 72k. And once again, if you decide to be the leader, which is a little bit more complicated, I'm pretty sure, but you basically get 5k on top of your traditional pay. So that is basically how this works. Now, currently there's nothing active going on. As you can see, it says filled, but whenever something does, basically after it opens, you just react below with what role you are. So if you're a tank, healer, DPS, or if you have the key, you just react to it and it automatically fills the spots. It's first come, first served. And as you can see, there are also buyer notes. So for this one, buyer is AFK, which means they're down a DPS, so they just want big DPS. And as you can see, Ethan is actually instructing them to read the note. But that is basically what you see. As you can see, there's a ton of boost, and all of them are different. But yeah, that is exactly how this works. It is pretty easy. All you have to do is sign up, and then you just have to start signing up for boost. First come, first serve, so just make sure you pay attention to it. But that is basically how boosting works. So I hope this kind of helps you. Once again, I'm not sponsored and they did not ask me to actually show them off. However, I thought I should, just to bring you guys more insight into the boosting community, and so you guys are not blindsided if you've ever wanted to try and do this. So, as you know, there's a lot of controversy going on with boosting or people that buy boost, and so in terms of just Blizzard TOS and the game, is it all legal or is anything certain that might be on the middle lines, or is there any possibility of being banned if you participate in this?
Okay, so I get this question a lot as a booster as well, and I just want to clarify that there because a lot of people are really unsure about that, which is fine. That you cannot get banned for boosting, not at all. The only way you can get banned for boosting is you do RMT, and RMT is a real money trade. So most brokers are you always see that they are advertising for gold, and if they do advertise for money, do not buy from them. For you will get banned for also participating in that run. Boosting is only allowed if it's for gold only. That's the best way to look at it.
As you know, multiboxing used to be very, very big within the gold community, and people would have up to 8 accounts running at a time, doing farms, etc. And then Blizzard put on the kind of ban, which basically banned third party software. And so now, basically, people are possibly still getting banned due to mass reportings, due to people still complaining about multiboxing, calling them bots, etc. So is that possible? Is that a possibility within the boosting community? With a certain amount of reports, you do get banned, or is that just not within anything with the boosting community?
So I would say, like for example, that for multi-bossing pertaining, it would not be affecting any booster at all. The only way you could somehow get reported for is, for example, being a broker. Because as a broker, you're always advertising in trade chat. And the way Blizzard handles this, that for example, if I post 2 messages of my advertisement twice in a row within like 1 minute, right? If I get reported, what Blizzard would do is silence your account. And the best way to resolve that is by sitting at a ticket, which does take time. So for example, if I got silenced on my account, I wouldn't be able to speak in trade chat, whispers, invites at all. So the best way you do is make a ticket. But the best way to also avoid that is wait between 2 minutes every time you post for your advertisement. And also, you need to be advertising on your main account. You cannot have a separate account that was purely made for advertising. Blizzard will look at that and they will ban that account for sure. Only advertise on your main account. But that is the only way you could possibly get banned for boosting.
Awesome. Now, with those actual legal things and with the TOS explained, some people do deem boosting as still cheating or just immoral because you're getting gold from people, and sometimes those people buy the gold with WoW tokens, which means they're spending real life money. And so some people just say that it's very immoral and actually possibly like you can actually like be considered like a cheater or whatever for doing it. So how does that bother you, or does it bother you, or just how do you feel like people with those perspectives?
So the way I see it is that like I can see what people are saying like it's moral or cheating, but I don't really feel like that at all. For example, many of the buyers that I have boosted have also like gained some sort of like experience at it. For example, like when these buyers buy boosts, it means quite a bit to them. That run means a lot to them. Even if you're a booster and that's just, let's say, like another run of the day, that means a lot for the buyer. And for me, that also means a lot as well because they're paying for an experience and they're paying for what they want to get, and once they get that loot or whatever they're paying for, they're very extremely happy about that. I think it's perfectly okay if they feel like they need to spend their gold for a boost, which is perfectly fine. A lot of people are advertising for that. I think that's okay because it's also like a gold currency. You're allowed to spend that gold on whatever you want to spend it on. If you want to buy a mount, you can go ahead and buy a mount. Many boosting communities sell mounts. Anything that you want, it's allowed. I would say it's allowed to if you have the gold for it. Because gold is a currency, you can spend it on anything you want. As long as it's within the guidelines, of course.
So yeah, guys, to sum up those 3 points, basically boosters and being a part of a boosting community is not against TOS. Of course, you need to make sure that the community is not doing RMT, which is real money trading, which is basically either collecting or giving money for gold. So that is something you definitely want to look out for. However, most communities advertise that they are gold only, and that is completely fine, but that is the one thing that is possibly bannable. And also, if you are a broker, there is a chance of you getting silenced for a few hours, but just like he said, you can also put in a ticket and just understand that, like, sorry, I spammed it too much, etc. Also, once again, the immoral and the cheating aspect that people deem boosting as is completely personal preference. Everybody has their different opinions on it because some people don't like to actually see people buying achievements and buying mounts and buying gear with gold. However, it is a part of the game, so it is up to you to see if you actually want to be a part of that. So, the next topic is going to be how it feels to actually be a part of boosting and part of the community itself, as well as making sure that you are not being scammed or anything like that. So, please enjoy the next section, and here it is. All right, awesome. So, as you know, there's a lot of controversy between boosting and people that don't boost or people that buy boost. And so, just for the community as a whole, what do you think the biggest misconception is?
So I think the biggest misconception of boosting is from what I see and from what people say is that they think that boosters are only like a community of elitists and like as in like elitists to where like people who are like the highest IOs, highest at everything, they're the best at current content. That is the only way for boosters to become a booster. But personally, I've never saw it that way. I did Mythic Plus, for example, as a casual way. I only improved my IO whenever I felt like it, whenever I was bored. But just for like the misconception, boosting is not an elitist thing. Anyone can boost. Anyone can do it. Your IO could easily be above 1,000. Obviously, the higher IO you have, the higher payment you get for certain runs. But boosting is not an elitist community. Anyone can do it.
First, as a buyer, how do you prevent being scammed? And also, as a booster, how do you prevent being scammed?
Okay, so as a I'm gonna go for like a broker standpoint because I also do brokering for my community, which is basically I sell runs to the buyers. And so the best way I ensure my buyers that they're not being scammed is what I do is I give them the Discord to the community so they can take a look at the whole community, see how it's run, just so to make sure they feel safe and like confident about it as well. And that's, like, honestly the best way to do it because, there are people that do scam. I know people that have scammed and, like, gotten scammed where they give money for, let's say, like, a heroic full run clear for, like, Castle Nathria, and the person logged off. So the best way to prevent that is to make sure you're ensuring, like, you're buying from a person from in a community. And the best way to also know this is that most brokers in a community are in a guild with their community's name. So, for example, if I'm an Accelerate, my guild name would be Accelerate Area 52 Guild Bank. And that's like one way you can know that they are official. And to follow it up with it, you could also join the Discord to make sure. Because this is your gold and you want to make sure that you're going to get what you paid for. And as a booster, I would say boosting is a very easy concept. So what I would do is that you join the really good organization or the community that's already well built and well known. For example, like Accelerate, Hulacan, Starlight, Phoenix. Those are well known boosting communities, and you should be able to feel safe enough as a booster to sign up and make sure that you get paid.
Have you dealt with any harassment towards yourself or towards others within the community or during Boost, and how have you dealt with it?
So the one thing I would say for this is like the real talk about like boosting communities. The one thing I would say is that on the higher boost, for example, say you're higher IO and you're getting into like the guaranteed times where give out the big payment if you do time those runs. And so most of the people in those runs, I would say, are kind of like an elitist type. You do encounter not all of them, but you do encounter maybe like say once every like 20 runs you do encounter a person who's very like, vocal. If you mess up once, they're gonna get very frustrated. I would say it's you guys are there just to boost one person. I would just say just mute them, you can move on to the next run. But if it does become a problem, you can always talk to support and management out there because many support and managements of every community are always looking at bad boosters and they will always give them what many boosting communities do is refer to them as a strike. And obviously, if you get 3 strikes, you're out. And so, whether that be like not completing a boost or having bad anger management or problems in the games, having problems with the buyer, or for example, not giving loot, that's how it would go. So the best way I would do is that you leave that person to rant for hours and want. If you ever get like a bad booster, and you can just submit a support ticket, which many communities do, and you can just explain them everything to them there.
All right, thank you so much, Ethan, for your time. Is there any final things that you would like to say or anything before we end it?
The only like thing I'd say is that I want to remind everyone that anyone who can do boosting, anyone can do it. Don't think that's like an elitist thing. Don't think that like it's an immoral thing or anything like that. Like gold, it's not like a real gold making way, which I personally do believe it is a real gold making way. I just think there are a lot of options for you to make golds. For example, I do the auction house a lot. I know how it feels to be on the auction house the entire day, and doing boosting is also a nice relief because I also really do enjoy current content and being able to do that and make gold is what I love doing. So it's like a nice balance between. And I also do the auction house. I flip it around sometimes whenever I feel like I don't want to do a boost and I just want to do brokering and sales. You could just do brokering and on the auction house the whole day, and you make an extra set amount of gold. I think all options are correct, and whatever you way to do is whatever you choose to do.
All right, guys, so that finalizes all of our Q&A portions of this video. Now, I just want to take this last few minutes and just sum up everything that has been said. So if we look back to the gold making part of boosting, currently Ethan is making about 227,000 gold every single day by doing 4 boost, and that takes 2 hours. So basically in 2 hours he is making over 200,000 gold, and if we take that, because I believe the average person that plays WoW spends anywhere between 4 to 5 hours playing, on average about every single day. So if we take that, so if we double it, then they are making close to 500k within 4 hours of strictly just boosting, and that is in 1 day. So if we take that and then we do it for 2 days, you have already made 1,000,000 gold off of 2 days just from running 8 dungeons. Because once again, 4 dungeons every 2 hours, so 4 hours it would be 8 dungeons. So once again, if you are eligible to be a booster, which means that you just need to get your Raider IO score up and make sure that you know the dungeons and have the gear, this is a very viable method for gold making. I believe that if you do this, you will have plenty of starting capital, which then you can use to start profession making, start flipping on the auction house, and start traditional gold making if that is your ultimate goal. However, for people who want to just start gold making and just wants to gain some capital, boosting is definitely a way to go if you enjoy that concept of the game. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video explains everything between how much gold you can make, how you can actually start boosting, and any misconceptions or the actual legality of boosting themselves. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please leave a comment down below explaining or telling me how you like this video and if this helps you, and even if it's not your thing, maybe you at least know a little bit more about the boosting community. So once again, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you check out Ethan. I will leave his socials below. And be sure to join the Discord where people like Ethan and a ton of other people are posting how they're making gold and is helping you guys if you have any questions, as well as I'm on there if you want to talk to me personally. So make sure you join the Discord down below. We've also been live streaming 4 times a week, Sunday, Monday, Thursday, Friday, at 8 to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So definitely come hang out if you want to do that. And yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and have a good day.